Alright, so Prime Video, right? It's like they want to hide the good movies sometimes. I went digging and found 10 seriously underrated sci-fi movies that you absolutely need to check out. Trust me on this. And later, for all you classic sci-fi lovers, I'll also point out some of the big hitters that are on there right now. So, whether you're feeling adventurous or want to chill with an old favorite, I've got you covered. Alright, kicking off at number 10, we've got Monsters from 2010. It's a sci-fi horror mix with a solid 6.3 on IMDb. So, some alien stuff crashes in Mexico, and 6 years later, boom, giant creatures turn the place into an infected zone. Sketchy, right? We follow Andrew, a journalist who's gotta help Samantha, a tourist, get to the US. They dodge military checkpoints, survive crazy locals, and deal with huge alien monsters. Directed by Gareth Edwards, they filmed in real spots with a tiny budget, using real effects, which makes it feel super real and emotional. It's not just monsters, it's about survival and connection.
Hello, Lana. How are you feeling?
Coming in at number 9, we've got Beyond the Black Rainbow from 2010. It's another sci-fi horror flick, sitting at a 5.9 on IMDb. Now this one is weird in the best way possible. Think of it as a total mind trip, a hypnotic nightmare. It's set in 1983 at a place called the Arborea Institute, and it's all about this psychic young woman, Elena. She's stuck in this super strange research facility run by this Dr. Barry Nile dude who's seriously creepy. She's trying to break out, and as she does, all these dark secrets about the Institute start coming out. Panos Cosmatos directed this, and he totally throws traditional storytelling out the window. It's all about this slow, spooky vibe with crazy vivid colors, like something out of a retro sci-fi movie, and this super haunting synth music. It's not really about what happens, it's more about how it feels. It's like stepping right into a fever dream. It's become a cult classic for people who dig those artsy, experimental sci-fi horror movies.
Our Earth is replicated elsewhere. There's another you out there.
Alright, sliding into number 8, we've got Another Earth from 2011. This one's a sci-fi thriller with a solid 6.9 on IMDb. This movie makes you think, what if you could get a do-over on another planet? So, there's this super bright student, Rhoda Williams, and her whole life gets messed up after this really bad car accident that lands her in jail. When she gets out, she meets John Burroughs, a music professor whose life was also wrecked by the same accident. Here's the twist. Rhoda doesn't tell him who she really is, and they start forming this delicate bond. Meanwhile, the world's freaking out because suddenly, there's a whole other Earth hanging out in the sky. It brings up this crazy idea of maybe meeting another version of yourself. Mike Cahill directed this, and Britt Marling is awesome in it. It mixes the sci-fi stuff with some really deep human feelings, like guilt, trying to make things right, and that tiny bit of hope for a fresh start. It's a quiet movie, but it's got a real punch and makes you think long after it's over.
Of course it is.
I'm killing them straight. Let's get tooled up, blood.
Cruising in at number 7, we've got Attack the Block from 2011. This one's an action-packed sci-fi comedy, sitting at a cool 6.7 on IMDb. This movie is pure British fun. It's about this gang of teenagers in South London who suddenly have to deal with an alien invasion. So, these weird, nasty creatures crash land in their neighborhood, and this kid Moses, played by John Boyega, steps up and leads his crew to defend their turf. They're using all their street smarts and whatever they can get their hands on as weapons to fight these glowy, super fast aliens. Joe Cornish directed this, and he mixes the real gritty feel of city life with some seriously fast action, a ton of laughs, and some clever things to say about society. Attack the Block is a total blast. It's exciting, hilarious, and has a lot of heart. It's a fresh take on the whole alien invasion thing, and was definitely the movie that put John Boyega on the map.
I have the location of a massive deposit of Orlac. The Queen's Lair.
Hitting number 6, we've got Prospect from 2018. This cool mix of sci-fi and western has a 6.3 on IMDb. Set on a toxic alien moon, it follows C and her dad Damon trying to mine valuable gems. But the place is dangerous, and other ruthless prospectors make every move a risk. Directed by Zeke Earl and Chris Caldwell, it has this tense, gritty vibe with a slow burn suspense. Pedro Pascal adds serious depth to the story. They used practical effects, making the world feel real, and the acting is top-notch. It's a character-driven story about trust, survival, and what you're willing to do to get what you want. If you dig indie sci-fi, this one's a must-see.
These hippies went missing back in the 70s. Hopper went on this massive search for the van they left in the day they went.
Landing at number 5, we've got Time Trap from 2017. It's a sci-fi adventure with a 6.2 on IMDb. This one's about a bunch of students who go looking for their archaeology professor who's gone missing in this weird cave. Turns out, the professor was hunting for the Fountain of Youth, and the students stumble upon this crazy time thing happening inside the cave. Time moves super fast in there compared to outside. So, as they go deeper, they start seeing all sorts of strange stuff and run into some serious danger, all while trying to beat the clock to get out. Mark Dennis and Ben Foster directed this, and it's a cool indie sci-fi adventure that throws together time travel, mystery, and suspense. It's a fast-paced and fun ride if you're into creative, low-budget sci-fi. Rolling in at number 4, we've got The Vast of Night from 2019. It's a cool sci-fi mystery with a 6.7 on IMDb. This one takes you back to the 1950s, in this small town in New Mexico called Cayuga. There's this young switchboard operator, Faye, and a local radio DJ, Everett, who team up to figure out this weird audio frequency that's messing with their quiet town. So, Faye hears this strange sound on the phone lines, and Everett picks it up on his radio show, and they decide to find out where it's coming from. Andrew Patterson directed this, and he builds up the suspense with these really long shots, a cool, retro feel, and a big focus on how everything sounds. It's a slow burn mystery that makes you think about communication, being curious, and the possibility of aliens. It's got this indie vibe and offers a fresh and thoughtful spin on classic sci-fi.
Only one thing fighting for order in the chaos.
Cracking into the top 3 at number 3, it's Dread from 2012. This is a straight-up action-packed sci-fi flick with a solid 7.1 on IMDb. Okay, so picture a messed up future where these judges are basically the cops, the jury, and the executioner, all rolled into one. This Judge Dredd dude, played by Carl Urban, and this rookie Judge Anderson, played by Olivia Thirlby, get called to this massive high-rise building run by this totally ruthless drug boss called Mama, played by Lena Headey. This building gets locked down tight, and they have to fight their way through a ton of criminals just to survive. Pete Travis directed this, and Alex Garland wrote it, and it's just non-stop gritty action with some dark humor thrown in. The visuals are super stylish, especially when they show scenes with this drug called slow-mo. Even though it didn't do amazing in theaters at first, it's become a total cult classic for its non-stop pace, and the fact that it's just pure, unadulterated thrills. Creeping into the number 2 spot, we've got Dark Skies from 2013. This one's a horror sci-fi blend with a 6.3 on IMDb. This movie is all about the Barrett family, who start having some seriously weird and scary stuff happen at their house in the suburbs. Like, things moving by themselves, and their youngest kid is saying he's being visited by these shadowy figures. So, the family starts thinking it might be aliens. Scott Stewart directed this, and he really focuses on making you feel uneasy and building up the suspense slowly. It's more about the creepy atmosphere and subtle scares than big, flashy effects. It looks at alien encounters from the point of view of a family that's feeling really vulnerable, and it's a pretty haunting watch. If you're into horror that's more about mystery and feels real.
On the news, they're talking about the comet.
Yeah.
Wheeler's comet.
After it passed, people get lost.
And finally, taking the top spot at number 1, it's Coherence from 2013. This is a seriously mind-bending sci-fi thriller with a solid 7.2 on IMDb. This movie throws you right into a dinner party on the night a comet is passing super close to Earth. As the night goes on, all these weird things start happening, and it feels like there are way too many coincidences. This group of friends starts to think that maybe the comet has something to do with alternate realities, or even doppelgangers. Ward Burkett directed this, and it's all about how the characters interact and the psychological tension. It really makes you think about who you are and your relationships with others. They didn't use a lot of special effects and had a pretty small budget, but Coherence delivers a super thought-provoking and mind-trippy experience if you're into sci-fi thrillers that mess with your head. Alright, that's the list, folks. 10 underrated sci-fi flicks on Prime Video that are totally worth your time. Hope you found something new for your watch list. Let me know in the comments if you've seen any of these, or plan to check them out. I want to know what you think. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.